Hello, good people. Spot of Nerd here with 180 episodes, if you would believe it or not. Who would have ever thought we got this far? Broken record, I know I say that quite often, but literally, if you remember so much as even just last year, I was barely doing one of these a month, let alone once every 6 months. The fact that we're doing at least once a week, hopefully trying to get twice a week if we're able to do at least a podcast episode, it's pretty badass. So, let's get right into it. Today we're going to talk about, it's kind of like mini review day. So, a lot of shows I've been watching, potentially movies, things and so forth. And I figured we would just kind of hit on each one just briefly. I'd love to know what you're watching right now. If something I'm not talking about in this episode, let me know in the comments. Something that I should be watching if I am not already. First and foremost, we got to get the politics stuff out of the way. So if you're not aware, I really hope you are. If you're not paying attention to what is going on currently in the Middle East, please go and do a little bit of research. I'm not going to go into it here. I don't think it's something we need to talk about during this episode. I think we're going to focus more on the review side of things, but my heart goes out to the people of Israel right now. Again, it's a long history. I could not even describe to you with words what it all means, what it all is about. You just have to do your research. And what's going on currently right now is just, it's terrible. It's horrible. People are literally being dragged from their homes and murdered in the streets. It's fucking terrible. And that's out of the way. Please go do some research. Just kind of see what the real story is, not what the media is trying to portray it as nothing other than what it is. Blah, blah, blah. There's gonna be a lot of, there's a word for it, where they kind of blindside you to say like, hey, look here when you should be looking here. Just be vigilant. Due diligence. There's words that I can't think. You know I'm not that bright when it comes to getting the words out. It's up here, but it's never usually coming out here. It's weird. Just do some research. And pray for those people, because seriously, they're going through hell right now. Absolute pure hell. So, with that said, let's get to the fun stuff and let's talk about a whole bunch of shit. Now, first and foremost, I want to talk about the Continental, which is a playoff of the John Wick movies. It's currently streaming on Peacock, I believe. Fucking amazing. Now, apparently, through the grapevine, I heard that this show slash miniseries slash movie is getting basically shit on left and right. Don't believe that. I personally, take it with a grain of salt. I know I'm just spot of nerd. I think I'm pretty badass, but in terms of, there's obviously more popular people out there, which you should be subscribing. I'm going to go over that again later, but please, I would be ever so grateful if you haven't already. I know there are a lot of you that have not. Just hit the subscribe. It's not rocket science. Super appreciate it. Thank you. Anyway, the Continental is a prequel to the John Wick movies with Keanu Reeves. If you haven't watched those, they are truly some of the greatest films that have ever been made, bar none. So obviously they made this show on the prequel side of things, and the prequel is around, I forget, again, I'm terrible with names. I think it's like Simon or something. Basically the little short English guy, and then of course his assistant, the black guy with glasses, who unfortunately passed away in real life. It was really sad. He died of cancer. So it's a prequel of their story, how they came to rise and essentially take over the Continental Hotel. It is visually some of the greatest scenes and some of the greatest cinematography I have ever seen in a show. Like, this is movie studio quality cinematography, because they're using practical effects, and the show is based in the 1970s or 80s, something like that, maybe 60s. It's just dark and gritty. It's New York, you know, during that time. They've got the World Trade Center, back when that was, obviously, they were still there. And again, the story is just, it's phenomenal. And believe it or not, I have not watched the third part. So it's a 3-part miniseries. So each episode is about an hour and a half, which is kind of almost like a movie. So if you put them all together, it really is just another movie of John Wick. Just title it The Continental. But I haven't watched the third one yet. My assumption, and again, there might be spoilers, which I probably should have mentioned in the beginning of this, that there will probably be spoilers in the shows and movies I'm going to talk about. I'm assuming in this third final piece, they are going to introduce John Wick himself, because they've introduced a lot of these other characters that we've seen throughout the John Wick films. We're seeing the younger versions of them, and we haven't seen John Wick yet. I mean, yes, he is a younger person, obviously, from the John Wick movies, if you get my drift, but the bottom line is, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a certain pregnant lady that is Simon's brother, who happens to be having a baby, and I'm assuming because of his badassness, that is gonna be John Wick. So, that's my assumption. Don't know yet. Tonight is, I mean, whenever I watch or you watch this, tonight is when I'm gonna finish the series. But I sincerely, honestly, hand to God, go and watch this show. It is so badass, especially if you're a fan of John Wick. Very similar vibe, very similar story writing. Sure, could it do a little bit better in the, what's the words again I'm looking for? The talking, the dialogue. Yeah, sure. Could it do a little bit better in the dialogue? Yeah. But beyond that, I think it's seriously just one of the best shows that's out there right now. So check it out. Flipping the script to one of the most terrible shows out there right now is the spin-off of The Boys, Gen V. I may have posted this, I think, on Instagram or something to that nature, when we got word of a spin-off series. So there was actually a cartoon series, The Boys Diabolical, which was fucking amazing, by the way. That is something you should go watch. All of it's on Amazon Prime, The Boys Diabolical, and Gen V. When we got word of the spin-off Gen V, I'll be very honest with you, I had to join that group of, this is going to be garbage. This is going to be absolute ass. They're going to throw nothing but woke political agendas and narratives into this show, and they're going to ruin what truly is one of the greatest television series / comic book series that has ever existed, which of course is The Boys. Obviously, if you're not familiar with it, The Boys was originally a cartoon series. Not a cartoon, a comic book series, and it was violent. It was graphic novel. Basically, to give you the rundown, if you're not familiar with what The Boys are, you've got the world and you've got superheroes. The superheroes actually were created through a serum, but the bottom line is, the boys, they're this group of kind of, I guess, normal people that don't have superpowers, trying to stop the superheroes, because the superheroes are complete dicks. They're complete assholes. And it's an amazing story arc, story writing, because you think anytime you see a superhero show or a superhero movie, it's just the good versus evil. Well, now the roles have reversed. The superheroes, though they look all high and mighty trying to save the world, they're actually kind of dicks, and it's all about money, it's all about politics, and it's all about kind of how cool and popular you are. It's no different than really what the world is today, except with superpowers. So when we got this spin-off series, Gen V, which takes place after the third season of The Boys, again, all of us before it came out were like, this is gonna be shit, it's gonna be terrible. And not 30, I cannot exaggerate to you people right now, 30 seconds before they started spewing woke political agendas and narratives. I was absolutely flabbergasted when I first watched this. I had to shut it off after about 20 minutes. The show is nothing but white people suck, white people suck, white people are to blame for everything. Racism, 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 environment, 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 blah, blah, blah. It's just like the society that we live in right now, we don't need to go down that road. But the bottom line is we are more divided than ever. And it doesn't help that you have these shows making it worse. I've said this forever, and I will say this forever, specifically on this channel, Spot of Nerd. Leave our shows alone. Leave our comic books alone. Leave our movies alone. We get enough of this crap in the real world. We do not need it shoved down our throats in the fictional world. This is about superheroes. How on earth can you ruin this? This is one of... You had The Boys, which I swear to you, you can look this up. It has won award after award after award. It has dominated the streaming service. It blew up as far as making Amazon Prime one of the #1 streaming services on the planet. And then you brought this shit out? Jesus Christ, people. So if there is one show to never touch, don't even bother with it. Gen V on Amazon Prime. Just, I would almost, if you were put it up to par with the new Lord of the Rings, the Power Show, the Rings of Power show or whatever, which to this day just might be the worst show on the planet. Gen V is right there. I swear, hand on my heart, people, Gen V is right there. It is that bad. Do not waste a second of your life watching this piece of shit. Now, again, let's go to a positive review, because you see what we're doing here? We're doing good, bad, good. See what I did there? Netflix currently is... It's got a... see, told you I don't edit these things. Netflix is currently putting out a 4-part docu-series called Beckham. Now, I'm English, British, used to play soccer. I actually do really enjoy soccer, aka football. I love my team. I love my England national team. I watch the Premier League. I'm kind of more of like, I don't really follow anybody necessarily. I just enjoy watching football because I think it's a real sport. Quite frankly, I mean, not to go down that road, I could piss a lot of people off. I do not understand American football. I really, really don't. It's a bunch of grown men with a crap ton of pads on, and they'll have a play for 20 seconds and they'll take a 30-minute break, and then they'll go 20 seconds, take a 30-minute break. Like, if you compare American football with rugby, I mean, there's no... I mean, come on. You have real men playing rugby. No pads, just beating the living daylights out of each other. Like, that is a real sport. The Beckham docu-series is a 4-part series based on his career, based on his life. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I was one of those people that shit all over this man. I really, really did, because this man was fucking everywhere. He was on every newspaper stand, he was in every magazine, he was on every talk show. And it was obnoxious. It was kind of like this guy, the way he dressed, the way he looked, he just kind of thought he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. But, there's always a but, let's be real, he was God's gift to the football world. He was brilliant. He had a foot that nobody could stop. He could put a ball from one place to the other, split second, without even thinking about it. So he did have an amazing amount of talent, and still does to this day. So what I think is incredible about this docu-series is really going through those bad moments. You know, if you're not familiar with it, in the 1998 World Cup, his first and only red card was ever received while he was playing for the England national team. Yeah, personally, was it a disgrace to his country? Yes. Obviously, he got kicked out. We got kicked out of the cup. Blah, 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 blah. The bottom line is, what happened after that, because of course they're showing a lot of behind-the-scenes footage, was atrocious. It was absolutely atrocious. When it gets into the marriage, you know, he married Posh Spice, Victoria Beckham, and you look at the paparazzi, you look in the newspapers, they murdered, brutalized, obviously metaphorically speaking. They destroyed this man. They destroyed his life, or at least they tried to destroy his life. And you see the behind the scenes footage of just like, my God, why? And this is, I think, the biggest thing I took from it is, why do we idolize these people so much? Like, again, kind of talking about what we did in the beginning of this episode, specifically what's going on in Israel. I mean, specifically what's going on the southern border here in the country. You know, the fact that people are barely making ends meet right now. Like, why are we not putting the same energy that we did towards Beckham or any other NFL superstar or celebrity? Why are we not putting that energy towards real fucking problems? And I know that is like so going out there, it's crazy. Trust me, I'm not blind to that fact. I'm sure we could talk for hours, if not weeks, for days, etc. in relation to that. But it's just like, you look at how this man was treated. He had, there's some scenes in the docu-series where it's like, he's driving his car with his family. His kids are freaking out because people are like banging on the window and stuff like that. Like, damn, this man did not get an ounce of privacy whatsoever during that time. And as much as it goes with the, I don't know, you know, there's a metaphor where like it goes with the tail or something, where, well, you are a superstar football player, like that's just what it is. That's just, that is your life. That is how it's going to be. I think what it comes down to is, again, is just, we gotta stop doing this. You know what I mean? Like, this is a man. David Beckham is a man who deserves respect, who had amazing talent, played amazing football, has an amazing family, who is still married to this day, by the way. And this is, you got to give so much credit. Obviously, for the status that he has in the world, the status that he did have in the world, the fact that he still is a family man, a traditional, married to his wife, has not cheated or divorced or anything like that. Major props, dude. Seriously, the amount of probably ass that this guy probably got throughout his life, wow. And the fact that he stuck to his guns and did not waver once. Go check out Beckham right now on Netflix. You will not be disappointed, I promise. Especially if you thought it was cute. Switching gears just a little bit, we'll go a little bit to the movie side of things. Obviously, there have been some new movies out. Please go and check out we did some reviews before of the Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, and the creator, huge appreciation for a lot of the people that are watching it. A lot of comments, a lot of positives on those reviews, so huge thank you. Another reason why I'm kind of doing more of the video of me, seems like a lot of people actually prefer that. Anyway, some other movies that I've seen that kind of, you know, would I recommend, would I not recommend? Saw 10, yeah, just like the Fast and the Furious series, there's 10 of these fucking movies. Oh my god. It's horseshit. It's absolute horseshit. Now, I was a fan, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was a fan of the Saw. I mean, it's Halloween. You go see these films. Saw was incredible when it first came out. And then they made a sequel, which was really good. And then they made another sequel, and another, and then you're just kind of like, just stop. Just, please, stop doing this. You're just embarrassing yourself. But Saw 10, as much as it was, I want to say from a visual production, you know, from a videography standpoint, sure, it was great. It was much more gory. It was much more, like, clearly they had a better budget than they did from the first film. It's just the story arc was very predictable, you know, and apparently, spoiler here, it's a prequel. It's not actually a sequel, it's a prequel. So the main villain, who basically sets up all these traps and kills people, this is a prequel, so you know he's going to survive, because he's got to live to the next film, and the next film, and the next film if they make other films. So I personally, Saw 10, I would not recommend you go see it. You're just probably going to waste your time. Something that was a bit of a shocker, that actually was really good, and again, speaking more on the Halloween side of things, Disney, if you have Disney Plus, it's streaming on there right now, but there is The Haunted Mansion, which is starring Owen Wilson. It's got Rosario Dawson. Pretty good. I am not gonna lie to you. It got destroyed in the box office. It really, it made pennies, which again, yay, because Disney, you are making nothing but trash, because we're gonna finish this episode off with Ahsoka. Don't worry, we'll get there. But The Haunted Mansion, it was really good. I really did think, if you're looking for just a fun Halloween movie to watch, and if you're a big fan of The Haunted Mansion at Disneyland, I thought it was beautifully done. Again, the cinematography, the way they kind of incorporate the storyline. You know, this guy has invented a camera that takes pictures of ghosts, there's the murderers and all these other ghosts in the house. And I'm not the crazy Disney fanatic, you know. I mean, yes, when I lived in California, I loved to go to Disneyland. I loved the Haunted Mansion ride. I do think it's one of the greatest rides that is out there. But I really think they adapted the ride, the story, and the movie all together just beautifully. And if you're just looking for something fun to watch, you don't need to necessarily keep track of really what's going on. It's just a fun thing to watch with your kids, with your partner, whoever that might be. It's Halloween time, and if you're looking for a really good Halloween movie to watch right now, The Haunted Mansion is definitely something to watch. So check that out. I would definitely, if we're going through the spot of nerd stuff, I'd give it 2 to 3 cups of tea out of 4 with spot of nerd. But I mean, it's just one of those, I wasn't really like, oh my god, I need to go see this film, so I think maybe that's part of that reason. But I just think if you're looking for something good and fun to watch for Halloween, check out Haunted Mansion. Let's wrap up this episode. I appreciate everybody if you have stuck through this long into the episode, because it is a longer one. We're going over a lot of stuff here. But you know we got to finish this episode up with the official ending of the first season from Star Wars Lucasfilm Ahsoka. We have touched on this previous episodes, and this is, I think what I'm trying to get at is, we were right all along. You know, Star Wars is dead. Star Wars is completely dead. And I think this show is the definition of why Star Wars is dead. Star Wars kind of died. It started bleeding out during The Last Jedi, and from there it has just been slowly. I mean, the 3rd season of The Mandalorian, Jesus fuck. I can't even, with Jack Black and Lizzo, good fucking god. But when you had the live action Mandalorian and you had word, she obviously cameoed, Ahsoka Rosario Dawson cameoed in The Mandalorian, which was fucking amazing. We were really excited about this show coming out, especially when we also got word that there was gonna be Thrawn, the blue guy. And my god, did they just crap all over this series, this storyline. I won't go into a lot of the details. Trust me, all you gotta do is pick up any nerd channel out there, and they've done full reviews on the entire series of just how bad this show is. The writing was atrocious. Let's just be very clear. Men are garbage, according to Lucasfilm. Men are the trash of the world, according to Star Wars. The fight sequences, my god, it was like watching something from the 90s in terms of, it was so awkward watching these lightsaber fights. The character development, if you had any idea who these characters are, good for you, because the only way you're gonna know who these people are is if you've ever watched the Clone Wars and if you've ever watched Star Wars Rebels. Beyond that, you are not gonna have a fucking clue who these people are. And I think that's where the biggest miss was. Dave Filoni, who is the biggest creator of the Clone Wars and Ahsoka, I guess the best way to describe it is, he destroyed his own creation. And it's the saddest thing to see, because again, Rebels was an amazing show. The Clone Wars, truly one of the best Star Wars shows out there. So when you get this live action sequence, you're thinking, oh my god, you can only do better from here. He just shit all over it. And he shit on it with woke, politics, agendas, and narratives. You ruined it. You completely ruined this character, and you completely ruined this story. It's a tragedy of what you had before and what you're creating now. And the stupidest thing about it is, and I swear to God, you can ask anybody this, giving us Hayden Christensen who played Anakin in the prequels, that's not gonna save you. We're done with this bullshit of like, hey look, I'll give you a little bit of nostalgia, that makes you like the show, right? You like it, right? Because we gave you Anakin? No. That was probably the only thing that was worth watching, even though he was only in it for about 10 minutes. The rest of it's just pure and unadulterated crap. Do not waste your fucking time, because it is further proof that Lucasfilm and Star Wars do nothing but want to give you the middle finger to you and to any other Star Wars fan person out there, because quite frankly, they do not give a shit about the fan base anymore. They do not give a fuck. And I'm passionate about it because I want to enjoy it and I want to like it, but quite frankly, you're making it impossible to. So, in retrospect, fuck you, Star Wars. Fuck you, Lucasfilm. you kind of get what you deserve. If you're losing billions of dollars, you're losing subscribers, etc., you're doing it to yourself when you bring out shit like Ahsoka. Right! With all of that said, thank you guys so much. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for watching. I super appreciate it. Please, I would love you forever. Please subscribe. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, shame on you, but I get it. Trust me, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Let me know your thoughts. Like I said in the beginning, in the comments. Have you seen some of these? Are there shows that I should be watching right now? Until then, again, thank you all so much. We will see you guys next time. Later, y'all. There was a show that I didn't want to talk about, but we have to talk about just briefly. Perfect end credit scene is the 5th season of Love is Blind. Sweet baby Jesus. Anytime, I mean, I know these shows are garbage, they're trash, they're terrible, but anytime I watch these shows, I've said this before, it just reinforces the wanting to be alone and wanting to stay single, because holy shit. If that, watching, I mean, again, it's humorous, it's laughable, because if that is what the world of relationships is now, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. You can, I'm gonna go do my thing. You go do Love is Blind.